Many people are worried about catching diseases from toilet seats. Well, public toilets in particular, they can make some people nervous, and that's completely understandable. But the truth is that toilet seats are usually not a major source of infections, and that might sound counterintuitive. So I want to explain why this is the case. Well, I'm not saying that toilet seats are always clean. Well, very often they're not. But contamination and transmission are two entirely different things. And every pathogen, it's a disease-causing organism, every pathogen spreads in its own specific way. And for most of them, a toilet seat simply isn't part of that route. Well, I do want to give you a couple of examples here. Cholera, that's our first example, spreads through contaminated drinking water. And the bacteria infect people when they swallow water that contains those bacteria. But cholera is not transmitted through the air. Malaria is another example. Malaria is transmitted by mosquito bites, specifically by certain mosquito species, but you cannot get malaria by eating contaminated food or by touching certain surfaces. Now then, there are also food poisoning bacteria such as Salmonella or Campylobacter, and these are usually transmitted through contaminated food. You typically get infected by eating the bacteria, not by breathing in the air around someone. Respiratory viruses are again entirely different because viruses such as the one that causes COVID-19, Corona, it mainly spreads through the air when infected people breathe, talk or cough or sneeze, but it's not passed on by eating food. And then there are infections which spread through direct contact with body fluids, and these diseases are not transmitted through casual everyday contact such as shaking hands or touching ordinary objects. And then there is rabies, which is passed on by animal bites. I mean, you get the idea. So in short, the way that microorganisms spread depend on the biology of the pathogen, and many pathogens, they cannot survive well on dry surfaces, or they simply require specific conditions to infect someone. Just worrying about random surfaces often completely misses the point entirely. And when a toilet is flushed, well, it creates tiny droplets in the air. Sometimes it's called the toilet plume. And these droplets can contain microorganisms and they settle on the nearby surfaces in the toilet, also on the seat, on the floor, on the surrounding walls. And so yes, microorganisms do end up on the toilet seat as well. But the presence on the surface is not the same as an infection. And for most pathogens, that route simply doesn't lead anywhere. And even where surface contamination does matter, hand washing breaks the chain before it becomes an infection. And that's why it remains one of the most effective hygiene measures we have. And that's also why modern public bathrooms increasingly use touch-free faucets and soap dispensers, not because the handles are dangerous, but it simply makes hand washing easier and more likely to actually happen. Now, there is also a psychological component to hygiene. Some people feel more comfortable wiping the toilet seat before actually also using it. So if you want to use a disinfectant wipe, well, that's of course perfectly fine. Yeah, if it makes you feel better, then please go ahead and do that. But from a microbiological perspective, toilet seats are usually not the infectious risk that many people imagine. Now, what does surprise me a little is that people seem to have lost a little bit the middle ground in debates like this. Some are almost germophobic and afraid to touch anything at all, while others say that they never wash their hands and nothing ever happened to them. And I think both extremes are kind of missing the point a little bit, because what really matters is understanding how diseases are actually transmitted, because every pathogen spreads in its very own way. Well, alright, that's all I wanted to share with you today. I hope that you found this video again interesting. I'm Oliver. I wish you a happy microbe hunting as always, and hope to see you again in the next video. Bye bye.